Good morning. This is Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. It would be absolutely fantastic if you were able to rise from your bed this morning. Get out of the primordial ooze. Don't try to go to Ruth's Chris or Morton's or try to do anything. What you need to do is get out there, start pumping some iron. I was in there pumping iron yesterday. It was absolutely fantastic. I was able to get my arms to go ahead and to start, to pump them. I was having lift weights in a very long time, and I could not get past my fourth or fifth rep, and I was yelling at my biceps. I was like, "Come on, you need to pump this iron. You need to show that you've got a son-in-law, Chris Pratt, who's absolutely fantastic." That you're still able to be intimidating, so that way you can be the father figure of your house. Even though I don't have a house anymore, I've just got a bunch of mules and different little farm animals running around as I'm doing my shakes, but I'm absolutely 100% plant-based these days, absolutely vegan. I do put an awful lot of schnapps in my drinks in the morning, but that's what you're supposed to do at my age, at almost 80 years of age. So I suggest what you need to do is wake up, do it now, give me a phone call, act like you're trying to get to a chopper, and I can tell you stories about when I was in Colombia and I had to go ahead and try to resculate. I just made up a new word. I must be like, like, like George Bush or something, when you make up your own Bushisms. But anyways, I was down in Colombia and I was sent on a task. It was a special forces task. What I was supposed to do is rusticate. I just did it again. Look, I'm starting to do all these Bushisms. But I was down there, and what I had to do was I had to try to rescue two foreign dictators who were on the wrong side of the border. But it absolutely was wrong. What it was I was being hunted for the first time in my life. And then, just like every other movie that I was in, I had to fight for my life. And so it's absolutely important, because you absolutely do not know what is out there in those trees. But Billy knows what's out there in those trees. He tried to warn us, but we didn't listen to him anymore. And then we lost Mac. And then we lost Jesse Ventura, who said that there's nothing but a bunch of slack-jawed faggots in the helicopter, and we weren't. We were not faggots at all, even though we all like to get greasy and go out there and do different things out in the woods, and try to pump some iron. It was very hard to try to keep this physique, when you're out there in the jungles. You can't get to the gym 5 days a week like I used to do, so trying to stay pumped up, while being out there in the jungle is not easy at all. So it was absolutely fantastic that I had Carl Weathers out there. That was my best friend. He's the guy that did the awesome, most manly handshake ever out there in history. When we were both pumping our biceps, and there's an awful lot of people out there in the gay community that tried to say that was homosexuality, but it wasn't. It was just two friends. One friend that was stayed in the military, and the other friend that started pushing pencils in the CIA. Anyways, I wanted to say, I hope that you have yourself a good weekend. Give me a phone call when you wake up. You can tell me some more of your hobo stories. And then I can tell you about how I fought the devil and how he went in and took out Tom Aquinas. And I told that devil, when I could have made the deal to save my family, but I didn't. What I said was, "You're a choir boy compared to me. A fucking choir boy." And then he threw me out the window. Anyways, I will tell you more stories as soon as you give me a phone call. It would be absolutely fantastic, and maybe I could take you out there to the Ruth Chris, to get yourselves, one of those stuffed baked potatoes. And I'm not talking about, those weak little baked potatoes, ones that you can get at the Wendy's. No, I'm talking about you can get the stuffed baked potatoes with the cheese and the broccoli, with some of the bacon in there and some sour cream. It's absolutely fantastic. But anyways, I will talk to you soon. Jeff, I hope you have yourself a good weekend, and talk to me as soon as you can.